Since I was a second grader, I wanted to be a sister and a teacher. They went hand in hand. You couldn't be a sister without being a teacher, and you couldn't be a teacher without being a sister. Part of the reason was, as a second grader, I had a sister for a teacher. And she was always filled with great joy, it seemed to me. She had a little bounce in her step, and we laughed a lot. And I wanted to be like her. The other students in my class did as well, but there was something different. I grew up in a good Catholic family, went to Catholic schools from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And in 5th grade, I had another sister as a teacher who was a great storyteller, and I would love listening to her stories. She showed me she was a real person, but she also showed me she had this great love for Jesus. And so religious life was this incredible mystery to me, and a big part of my heart desired that. Throughout junior high and high school, I became very involved in my faith, participating in all sorts of youth retreats and events, and my faith became something personal. Jesus became real. I would love going on a retreat and spending hours in praise and worship or in adoration, surrounded by great people, lots of friends, hearing great speakers, and I was thriving in that life. When my senior year rolled around, my 5th grade teacher invited me to come out on a retreat out here. And a few other sisters invited me as well, and of course I was dragging my feet until a good friend of mine wanted to go and didn't want to go alone. So she convinced me to go with her. And I began to see a different side of the sisters' life. Not only were they teachers, but they also had this deep life of prayer. They had this great joy with one another. And I loved being at the Mother House. It almost seemed to feel like a second home. Later on in my senior year, I went on another retreat there. And this retreat was unlike the other ones I had been on, with lots of music and lots of great people, the other youth events I had participated in. This one had a lot of silence and a lot of prayer time. And I remember after dinner one night going for a walk and needing to talk to somebody because I hadn't talked to anyone all day long. Although I loved the silence, it was becoming a little bit more than I had anticipated. And so I was talking to the Lord out loud, going on a walk, being amazed by the beauty of creation. And I looked back at the Mother House and finally asked him, Jesus, do you want me to be a sister? Most of the time it had been, this is what I want to do, although I wouldn't tell a lot of people. But in my heart, I want to be a sister and a teacher. But this was the first time I really asked the Lord, Lord, do you want me to be a sister? Do you want me to be yours forever? And as I looked back at the Mother House and just pondered that, there was this strong sense of peace, of joy, and Jesus' invitation saying, come. And I grappled with it for a little bit. My first reason I told the Lord why I couldn't be a sister was I was too young. I was only a senior in high school. People just didn't do that. But I knew that if I didn't give him the opportunity, I'd miss out on a great gift. And so I went in and walked past the door where one of the sisters was available for meetings to talk, if you had any questions. And I told him, okay, if the door's open, I'll go in. So I walked by and the door was open and I kept on walking. And I paused. Okay, Lord, this is a sign from you. I turned around and walked in and kind of awkwardly sat down, and what do you do? What do you say? I think Jesus wants me to be a sister. And thankfully the sister had already seen a lot of desire for religious life in my heart. It was very easy to talk to and got me started on a great road. I had already been going to daily mass, even as a senior. I'd finished up going to mass at the Newman Center, finished up my busy day. Had already been doing a lot of things, but she continued to put a few things in place that just really helped me grow my relationship with the Lord. I began meeting with her regularly, and every time I would drive away, I had that same sense of joy. Some of my friends would ask me, so where were you? You were gone all weekend. I'd been out with the sisters, but I hadn't been telling a lot of people that I was discerning that strongly. And I would just kind of brush it off. You know, I was here and there and just kind of around, and they would look at me. You were with the sisters, weren't you? And I'd ask them, what makes you think that? You're glowing. They too were able to reflect that joy the Lord had given my heart. And it continued to perplex me at various moments, especially when I was really thinking, are you sure, Lord? Is this really what you want? There'd be that continuing sense of deep joy. His invitation saying, come, come. And so time rolled on, and I took out the papers and ended up entering, and have time and time again been renewed in that joy of the Lord. His beautiful invitation, this great gift. I remember even when I told my mom after that one retreat, when they'd encouraged us to take the next best step. My next best step was telling my parents, and I knew they'd be open to it, but I wasn't sure about the timing. And my mom had told me that she had been praying for me during her weekly holy hour when I was on retreat, and she too had a sense of the Lord saying, if He was giving me the grace of a vocation, He would give her the grace to accept it. And that also became kind of my motto. If the Lord was giving me this great gift of religious vocation, He too would give me that grace to accept it. By His mercy, He has.